particularly in the Middle East, considering the size of the assets that are under development or which have been already developed. And definitely when they started about 7 years ago, there were very limited data about what can be realistic in terms of both situation on the ground and what could be the technologies that will realistically be able to realize the objectives of the different stakeholders, and particularly the sponsors of any project, where they had, of course, at that time made some assumptions. Over the time, I think the developments of technologies have been favorable, and we have seen many companies embarking into different attempts to produce the right solutions. Obviously, some were ahead of the game, such as Ecopia, who has been a very, very advanced technology company and was ahead of the game from different other suppliers or technology providers. That's why we thought to bring them to the table today to really put their agenda and put their thoughts about this topic. I think the webinar also has in the panel Romain from EDF. It's the asset management part of the agenda, and obviously the asset managers are the most concerned about the performance of these assets, and if the financial models will realize the reality on the ground. And of course, we have a technology provider of the modules, Longi, represented by Mr. Ahmed here. So also a very critical point, because when they produced their modules, they were, I think, at no point of time sure also how they will behave given the dusty conditions of the situation. So we have really Nalin, who is a very senior person in the industry and has been there for quite some time with a very impressive CV, who has worked for Tata Consulting before and has been a key part of the technology in the region, in India particularly, where lots of activities have been done, and Ecopia has been very active there. The view of the asset management from EDF, Romain has been in the business for as long as 10 years now or more, and has been working on many of the critical assets in the region here to see how the EDF achievements of financial gains are realized under the different weather conditions. And obviously, Longi has been a key supplier of the PV modules in the region. And as I said, over the time, we have seen some dramatic, improvements by all these three people and three parties, trying to get the best out of the financial models that they have built for their financial institutions. So with that, I would probably maybe start my moderation to Nalin to give us a quick, 1 minute introduction about Ecopia, and then we'll start some questions around that. Same also with Longi, and same with Romain. Nalin, sorry, the floor is yours. Please, 1 minute on Ecopia.
Thanks a lot, Ahmed. So a quick overview about Ecopia. So we started in 2013, and we raised $50 million in equity, $20 million in debt, and IPO'd in November 2020, raising over $100 million. We have been leading the global automation adoption for solar panel cleaning. Right now, we have over 19 gigawatts of signed orders, over 4 gigawatt operating order in Asia, Middle East, and the Pacific region. Have a team size of over 200, and a lot of repeat clients, and we have been very instrumental in most of the lowest tariffs which are bidded in India, and hope to basically extend similar kind of track record in the Middle East as well.
Thank you. Romain, maybe a quick introduction about yourself and about EDF in the region here.
Yes, sure, Ahmed. Myself, I'm leading the asset management operation maintenance of EDF Renewable. So EDF Renewable is a company that supports the EDF ambition into renewable energy. So it's a company that is global. More than 20 countries of presence worldwide, and basically in the Middle East, EDF Renewable have been actively, working and having like flagship projects under under execution and operation maintenance, to name a few. The solar park phase 3 in Dubai, as well as the DAFRA projects, the 2 gigawatt solar project in Abu Dhabi, the first wind farm as well in the Saudi Arabia, 400 megawatts to Matal Jandal, as well as other plants such as Jeddah 300 megawatt and so on. So basically in the region, it's been, let's say, around now more than 5 years, around 4 gigawatts of plants into operation or close to being operation. So yeah, I will keep it short.
Good. Ahmed from Longi, thank you very much for joining us. Ahmed Ziada, again, also a quick 1 minute introduction about yourself and Longi, please, before we take it from there.
Thank you, Ahmed. I'm technical manager of Longi for Middle East region. Longi is a well-known company as solar manufacturer. I can say that is one of top 2 in the world for solar manufacturer. With more than 65,000 employees around the world and 14.2 billion total assessment. We have this kind of position. One with 85 gigawatt of manufacturing facility for solar modules and 125 gigawatt of wafer manufacturing facility this year in global. We are AAA bankability manufacturer for solar modules. In the Middle East, we can say that from the utility scale in Saudi Arabia, we have the biggest share market, and making sure that we are offering to our clients the support all the time. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, Ahmed, maybe we'll continue with you, considering again a little bit of the past situation when everyone started to introduce the PV on a utility scale, and these programs have accelerated significantly over the last 7 or 8 years in the Middle East. And you were among the first to introduce their panels. At that time, everyone was asking, what are you doing for cleaning? Can you give us like a 1 minute snapshot on time frame? What happened when you started, and what do you see now? From when this question is being addressed to you from the different developers.
Okay, as you may know that our journey started in 2000. It was established just to collect the information about the solar, exactly what we can do, what we can offer to the market. From 2005, we started to have a plan to be the #1 production of monocrystal in the whole world, and this one was the second stage for us. It was the technological revolutions for monocrystalline. In 2014, we take the lead. We started to take the lead in the in monoPERC, and we're the most valuable PV manufacturer for PERC modules and LIR technology and bifacial technology, the same that you were saying now. For the cleaning part, we are giving all options to support our clients to make sure that they are using the best for them. Whatever the type of the cleaning system that they are going to use, we are making sure that we give them the support to work and operate it as effective as they can have it. From 2019, we started to go for the B-type technology and the solar modules with the change the earth with solar to solar manufacturing, from solar to solar manufacturing. So the same thing is to make sure that all our cycle is green. As Longi, as one of the very few manufacturers has manufacturing of wafer, we control quality of our solar modules to make sure that we provide the best and highest reliability from our side to our clients. About cleaning, again, regarding to your question, Ahmed, the main thing from our side is to make sure that whatever the solution that you are going to use as developer, as APC, we make sure that our module compatible with it and reliable. This is our main thing.
Okay, this takes me to Nalin. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about, when you have a new design of manufacturing like solar PV, like panel, like Longi's, okay, at which point of time do you really engage to understand how your solution can deliver the cleaning, solutions that are expected for these modules to deliver the outputs that they have been promised in their data sheets?
So there are three stakeholders I would cover. So in case of modules, we generally engage 2 to 3 years before they come to the market. That is in R&D stage only. So we work very, very closely with module manufacturer so that when the module comes for commercial production, it is already fully certified with the Ecopia, so that it helps IPPs to basically go ahead and design plants considering both robotic cleaning and the new set of modules. So that is the first part. Something similar we do with anti-reflective coating makers as well, such as DSMs, wherein they are coming up with anti-reflective coating, which are very, very fragile. And these coatings are used over solar modules. Many of the solar module makers are using 3M and DSM coating. So there, that certification also we take. Second piece of the puzzle is trackers. So with trackers as well, we work very, very closely. So that certification is also in place so that whenever a developer or a sponsor picks a robotic solution, they don't have to worry about reps and warranties of either the modules or of trackers. And third piece would be the stage at which we engage with the developers is generally at pre-bid stage or pre-design stage, so that the plant is designed in a very, very optimized manner. We can reduce number of robots so that both capex and AMC can be reduced. Secondly, the extra generation that we would be getting, that can be considered to bid very, very aggressively.
Very clear. Romain, I take it from there as well, and from that point on the bids, phase, and then on the asset management phase, what do you consider as an important parameters or into consideration when you are doing these kind of analysis at the bid stage, and what to expect at the asset management stage or O&M stage when it comes to the cleaning assumptions? Do you go ahead and specify a specific supplier, or do you have more generic approaches? Tell us the story a little bit, how your business approach that at these two critical phases of the project life.
Okay. So basically, I mean, to answer your second question, there's no like a specific supplier, but there are specific requirements. So basically, what do we need to have from a robotic system? What do we want? Basically, I mean, obviously, there's the cost perspective. So there's, what is the capex and the opex cost of the system? Okay, the capex when we have to invest into a large fleet of robotic system for utility scale plants, as well as the opex, meaning how autonomous is the system, how much labor intensive it is, and how much it will cost to run the system, along the reliability items, which are the failure rate and spare parts cost that needs to be added into the overall analysis of the economics. So that's one. Second one, what we look at is the main goal of the robotic system is to clean. Basically, we need to clean the modules to get more generation output. So there are specific requirements when it comes to the cleaning efficiency. So basically, as an asset manager, a developer, an operator, like we want a system that has a good performance when it comes to cleaning. So basically, we are implemented some test requirements to see how good is the cleaning efficiency of the system. So when we talk about cleaning efficiency, is the robot is going into the modules. We are looking what is the remaining soiling after the use of the robot, as compared to a reference that is considered fully clean, meaning with water. And we can see like how is the performance of the system. So that's another one. A third one is not really, it's not something you quantify, but on utility scale, we're mostly not mostly, but fully looking at a dry robotic system. So the use of the water is something important that needs to be preserved. So we are not looking to use water, or if there are some cases of project that is fully needed because of a very specific environment, we try to make it as low as possible to preserve the water and as well for economics. So I will say those are factors, and I will add the last one that will be more the maintainability of the system. So how we can maintain the system, how easy it is, and so on. So yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Romain. Nalin, back to you. Maybe an interesting point regarding the business model. So currently, the developers are buying the robotic system as a capex. It's part of the capex. It's included in the EPC price usually, most of the time at least. Are there any trends in the market, do you think, that the robotic solution providers will shift to soiling service providers rather than solutions based on a capex equipment supply? Do you see any of these trends, or do you think you want to see that kind of trend, or do you think you would be developing yourself as a company to that direction?
Sure. So, Ahmed, so there are two parts. First is when we talk about business model, it is not only pure capex plus 25-year AMC that we offer. So we have three business models. One is the traditional buy the robot and then you sign a 25-year maintenance contract. Second kind of projects that we had were, we had done this way back in 2016-17 with companies such as NG, wherein we signed a contract wherein we were not taking anything upfront. And we said, whatever is the extra generation, whatever is the extra pie that we will create, we will basically split the pie. So that is the second kind of model we have. Third model that we did was a bit of hybrid, which we did with companies such as Actis Capital UK, their platform Spring Energy, etc., wherein we said that you put in the capex and you don't pay us AMC to start off with. So whatever is the extra generation, first you take that 100% of that generation gain to recover your capex. And once you recover that capex, after that, let's start splitting the gain. So these are the three models with which we started off. Again, this can be done only by companies who are really very, very confident on their technologies. So this is the way we started in 2016, 17, and 18, when we were not doing too much of overloading. And coming to second part of the question, so can we basically work on something where it is purely linked to soiling losses? So that can also be done. But there are three things that need to be ensured. First, the IPPs or the sponsor with whom we are working, they need to have very good credit rating, at least AAA minus or AA, or PRIF, and best would be to have AAA, so that there is no credit risk. Second would be a very, very soiling methodology, which is very accurate. So what we have generally seen is even if we put various methods of measuring soiling, like say soiling measurement stations, if we put, even their accuracy is plus minus 3-4%. And what we are trying to measure is less than that. So second important thing is, as long as soiling measurement methodology is something which is foolproof, we are happy to take that risk. And finally, basically, as a technology provider, we are happy to support IPP in whichever manner which makes them more competitive and helps them win more, because we are very clear, if our client don't win anything, we also get zero. So the overall intention is to sync as much as possible with the client and help them as much as possible, whether it is designing of the plant, reducing the overall cost, or giving them support and flexibility as much as possible, so that overall we make their life easy, and we are like a plug and play system with a very straightforward IRR, NPVs to make them take a call very, very quickly.
Interesting. Back to Romain on this topic. Romain, do you believe that this kind of offering would be of interest to, or have you maybe in any part of the world considered to have that option on, instead of buying the capex, to sign like a performance model or performance soiling performance model solution with Ecopia or equivalent? Will that something that can enhance your case, your financial case?
You mean signing a performance, like having some kind of guarantees, you mean, like this?
Site guarantees, or the business model that Nalin just explained, which is basically hybrid, you know, that they will get the capex only if you get extra generation.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that is definitely worth to look at. You know, as for a developer, I mean, it gives some kind of comfort, meaning that, you know, if we are not achieving the added value we consider, so basically we have some kind of security here. You know, we have been discussing quite a lot with a robotic supplier to discuss about what kind of guarantee can be offered. You know, yes. As an operator, usually we have standards guarantee with performance ratio or availability and so on. Where what I see from myself on the market, on the robotic supplier, it's kind of difficult to agree with some kind of performance warranty usually, because first, performance ratio is not, you know, it's not only due to a robotic supplier, it has some external causes. And so on my side, I see it's more going towards a cleaning efficiency of the system, which basically it's only related to the system. But definitely, if there's like a kind of scenario like Nalin has just described, it you know, it's something that's for developers was to discuss. To basically, I buy an equipment, you give me a kind of guarantee that it will give me some upside into the generation, and if it's not satisfying, you know, there's a kind of guarantee there behind.
Okay. I'll come back to this point maybe in a different turn, but I want to go back to Ahmed on Longi and ask him about you know, how we all know that cleaning is very critical for the financial model, but also I wanted to know from a PV manufacturing, what is required really to continue delivering the guarantees of your PV module when it comes to cleaning solutions. So on that aspect, what are your expectations from the technology provider or from the client who is owning the PV modules or has installed the PV modules in their assets?
I think the main thing from our side is to, I can see it clearly, that to follow our process, you know, our recommendations for cleaning and installation and monitoring for the system. We don't have any kind of recommendation which type of robotic cleaning or manual or semi-automatic cleaning you have to go. It's based on the client requirements. It's based on his, as Romain was saying now, if it's worth it, if it adds value, definitely we will go for it. And it's based on each situation. We are speaking here about very wide range of projects that we are dealing with every single day, and every applications and type of mounting structure, a lot of things has impact on the decision of what type of cleaning. But from our side, as a solar manufacturer, we need to make sure that you are keeping your for example, soiling at the rates that you are measured in your designing. So if you make it 1%, you have to keep 1%. If you make it 3%, you have to keep it 3%. No matter what exactly you are going to use. Again, it's based on the client preference. Well, if he prefer to go for robotic, okay, go for robotic. This is exactly what you have to take care once you are doing robotic. I want also to share some of personal experiments with robotic cleaning, if you allow me, Ahmed.
Yes, please.
During our my last visit to Saudi Arabia last week, we went to one of our mega projects there, and we find that they installed already robotic cleaning, and it was not that much. We can say that it need more. You know, we cannot rely on dry cleaning only. We have to add wet cleaning. So how to add wet cleaning using robots, how to give better performance to the client. So we make some observations to the client, and we told him that from our side, we need to make sure that you receive what we promise, but what we promise is depend on what solutions that you are going to use. So this was our main thing that we are giving to our clients. We are not here to recommend someone to go for, or to tell someone use this or use that solution. At the end of the day, this is your property. But from our side, we make sure that you choose the best we advise you, and you are the one who takes the decision.
Okay, one more question related to you, and then I'll go back to Nalin on something different. When it comes to the different robots and the different PV manufacturing, there has been occasions, okay, and I will not emphasize any names obviously here. There has been occasions where the PV modules could not stand the weight of the robots and started to create cracks. And that obviously was a very easy way for the PV manufacturer to avoid their warranties when it comes to micro cracks. And this is a very serious debate sometimes between the PV modules and the owners of the plant. Do you see any particular trend in the design of PV that can assure the owners that, you know, collectively as an industry of PV manufacturers, you are trying to help solve this problem? Or do you believe that some manufacturers will still consider the technology of the PV and the diodes and whatever you're trying to do more important than the cleaning solution that goes with it, or can be adapted around it?
Well, I will speak about Longi, and I have thought that's kind of problems we will face with Longi products, because the main thing for us, it's not about the diode, it's about not only electrical, we have also the mechanical part.
Yes.
For the mechanical part, we are dealing with daily with the mechanical loads, the dynamic and the static loads that we have, that we are expecting. The health test, I think in latest report from RETCL, I think we and another company, only both of us has AA rating for health test, which is the highest, you know. So from reliability, this is what we are as Longi, we are depend on. You know, it's not only about to take certificate that you are following IEC standard. It's about the reliability. How long after that you survive for 25 or 30 years with all type of accepted loads. You know, at some time, at some points, you find that some people using unknown brands for robotics for cleaning, or whatever the methodology of cleaning that they are using, that has impact. Of course, at this point, the debate will happen, you know, and it will not be a debate. It will be something that we have our rules, we have our terms to follow. This you don't follow us. It's your problem. From the designing also, we saw this one from the designing side, from like someone who is using 2P for tracking systems in a sandstorm area. This one is a little bit, I can say a little bit tricky, you know. At the end of the day, this is based on the choice from the consultant, from the client himself, but based on our experience, based on our recommendation that we gave to our clients, that at some points you have to consider more than what you are seeing in now. You know, you are seeing yield energy that 2P is better, but of course, with long time, after 1 or 2 years, the problems will start to happen. That's why we give like red flags. We can't say that, okay, here you have to be aware. At the end of the day, we make sure that we give our honest suggestions to our clients to give them whatever they want. And as you know, it's 100% customized. So for Longi, for example, we started to have something called engineering process to not only sell modules, it's only to help you to prepare better drawing, to prepare better impact of your capex. At the end of the day, we have our main target is better LCOE from my side, from the developer, and from all stakeholders. We need to make sure that we give the client all transparent solutions and make sure that he is trying the best, he is choosing the best for him.
Okay, Nalin, I take it from here, from what Ahmed said. In the last, maybe 1.5 years, there has been a significant, emphasis on automated solutions and the link of these solutions to some kind of, analytics to help, the clients to further understand the soiling behavior and the cleaning impacts. How do you see the robotic technology providers engaging in this field of the artificial intelligence, signaling, data acquisition, and data analysis? Are the robotic solutions providers continuing to just focus on the mechanical and moves of the robotic solutions, or are there also any software advancement that we can expect to see in the industry over the next few years?
That's a very interesting question, Ahmed. So before answering it, I'll probably spend 30 seconds on what my fellow panelist Ahmed Zayada talked about, which is reliability over 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So in case of Ecopia, we have the top team coming from defense industry. So in defense, if you miss once, a person dies. So that is the mentality we bring in on safety and reliability. In our case, we do extensive testing with PI Berlin, Germany, for 16,000 feeding cycles, which is equivalent of 40 years. So if we are selling you a robotic system for 20, 25 years, we test it out for 40 years in Germany with the most rigorous agencies. And their results have shown that with Ecopia robots, hotspot generation is significantly lower, because with manual cleaning, you cannot have uniform cleaning. Whereas in robots, you can have uniform cleaning. They test it out for 5, 6 parameters. One is weight on the panel. Second is there is vibration also, which is when robot is passing. So a lot of things they test it out, and clearly safety is done. So coming back to questions of AI and analytics. So this is something that we are spending very, very heavily on. So this year we have put in close to $25 million in R&D, which is primarily going into data side of it. We have come up with a platform called Ecopia AI. So what we plan to do, and what we have been doing right now, it is being done free of cost, is when robot is moving over panels, we collect a lot of information. For example, we can have information if there is deformation in structures. We see at a particular point, angle is 5 degrees, say after some time it is 7 degrees. So we see there is a deflection in panel. It can be because of module mounting structure. It can be because of tracker structure challenges. So these alerts we give to the client. Second thing can be the plant size is increasing day by day. Earlier we started with 100 megawatt. Now 1 gigawatt is something which is very, very normal. With green hydrogen, 5 or 10 gigawatts will become very, very normal. So in such a large field, if a couple of panels goes missing, it's very, very difficult to locate. But with robots, you can give alerts that with exact location, that at this location, there is some external issue. It can be, say, structure has broken or module have flown away. So we basically act as second quality check personnel for the developers, and probably on preventive maintenance as well. We can give them a lot of alert before the actual structure fails. We can give them alert that there is deflection and they can attend to it. So there is a lot of work which is going around AI and ML to ensure that structures remain intact. It is not only giving alerts, we also try to make a system more reliable. So we can use AI and experiential learning. So when robot is moving first time, we map out the structure, the exact contours of the structure, so that, let's say there is this kind of a slope which suddenly comes up. So the robot need to reduce its speed. It should not keep going at a very, very high speed. Like when we are driving cars, we see there is a speed breaker, we slow down, so that neither car is damaged nor road is damaged. Something similar we need to do. Even though robotics is less than 1% of project cost, we should ensure we don't damage either panel or the structure. So these kind of things will come more handy if you are spending very heavily on data. And eventually 3-4 years down the line, we also plan to come up with the DaaS, which is data as a service, wherein we will be providing a lot of additional information. We have recently filed an IP wherein we can detect hotspot without using thermal cameras. So that is something, even if you are doing with drones are very, very distant from solar panels. And robots are running right touching the solar panels. So these information we plan to provide to developers to ensure that the plant keeps running. And as an ecosystem, we become more robust and reliable.
Very good. Thank you very much. This is, I think, a very exciting development. Romain, I don't know, maybe you want to comment on that from an asset management perspective, and also your systems requirements to be able to read from these valuable data that can be collected. What do you think about the concept, and how far do you think, I know, for example, EDF has very advanced monitoring and analytics centers around the world, and particularly in France. How do you see, yourself integrating with the supplier or a technology provider like Ecopia into such area of artificial intelligence and advanced data management?
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, nowadays operators are mostly using a central monitoring solution that integrates most of the data on the plants, and there's more and more data available right now due to the new technology, including the one provided by the robots now, that send some valuable information into whether some cloud system or the central monitoring of the plants. Indeed, we need to integrate all the relevant indicators in the monitoring system. Such as, of course, soiling, but as well all the information of the robotic system, meaning like, how many times they go and clean on the rows, some failure rate as well as important to integrate. I think there's something I want to highlight as well is, the robotic system are fully autonomous, but they can as well, by having inputs on the environmental data from weather station, meaning humidity, meaning the soiling level, know when to trigger the cleaning. Basically, I don't know, if there's a sudden storm or sudden increase of soiling, it's good that the robotic system can be triggered immediately. So basically, as compared to, for example, a semi-automatic solution or even manual solution, basically it's a big upside because you can clean very quickly after an event like that. So I think there's as well, the fact that the robots can be triggered based on some inputs that come from the monitoring system. So, soiling is one. I will say that humidity is another one. We know that some kind of technology is not working that efficiently when it comes to a period that there's humidity. So, if the robot can sense that, it can basically, know when it's better to make the cleaning of the row. I think, Nadine, you mentioned a tracking angle. Now the standard is trackers on the project. So some robots cannot run at a certain angle. So basically, by having the tracker angle, they know basically when they can do it. So I will say that, to make it short, there's a lot of valuable information that comes from robots to the monitoring system to make analysis as an operator. On the other hand, there's as well a lot of information from weather station or from the operator that can be provided to the robotic system to as well optimize its operation.
Okay, very good. One question, Nalin, I think that we would like to understand commercially. Ahmed can vote for that, obviously. The last few years have been significant decrease in cost and commoditization of the technology of the PV to some extent by some manufacturers, and despite that, we have been able to see a lot of very advanced technologies coming to the market. In the case of robotics, Nalin, there seems to be a concentration of manufacturing in one part of the world. And obviously, there are some very serious value differentiation that you can see between your product, for example, and others. But people or the developers are still thinking, or they not are still thinking, they believe that it's time for again a very significant reduction in the cost of the robotic systems, considering the scale of the manufacturing of each of the technology suppliers in that space. Can you give us a little bit of a commercial view of what is the trend going to be, given the supply chain constraints that we see in the market these days? How far is your manufacturing space cost impacted? Do we start to expect improved pricing, or no? The developer should expect to see higher prices when it comes to cleaning solutions if they really want a reliable solution. Some maybe background on what's happening in the industry from your perspective.
That's a very, very interesting question, Ahmed. Thanks a lot for asking. So I'll answer it in three bits. One is cost per robot, how it has changed. Second, cost per megawatt, how it has changed. And third, what we see in future. So if we talk about cost per robot, so over the last 2 years, I have seen it decline by over 50%. And I see this trend continuing going forward. It's basically economies of scale. Second thing, robotic players have started to understand what the actual costs are. So initially they had a lot of risk building, which they also developed the comfort, and IPPs also developed the comfort. Basically because the pricing of the risk is directly proportionate to what are the LDs. So that also worked a lot. So that is one part. Second part is cost per megawatt. So there I'm seeing very, very significant decrease, and it will continue to follow the trend. There are again three reasons for it. First is the coverage area of the robots have increased. So initially when we started off in last decade, so typically it will be very, very rare to see projects where you have rows which are as long as 1 kilometer. Right now we are doing projects where the shortest row is 1.2 kilometer, the longest row is 2.5 kilometers. And I'm very sure 2-3 years down the line, this will further increase. And the robots as well, the initial set of robots we had, so if you are going with a 4-meter high structure, they would be covering 500 meters. Now the same robot is able to cover 2 kilometers with ease, 2.5 kilometers with ease. So what it does is basically say with 50% of cost, you are getting 4x coverage. So it's a ratio of 8x in terms of reduction. This is first because of length of the rows. Second thing which has happened is module wattage. So 5 years back or 4 years back, we used to have 200, 220, 250 watt peak modules. Now we are already talking about 700 watt peak module. So in case of robot coverage, within the same coverage area, we can pack as much as 2.5x or 3x watt peak with the same coverage area. So that also helps in reducing. So that is the second thing which has happened. Third thing is reducing the overall cost of the ecosystem. So initially when we started off, so there were very, very stringent kind of conditions put in terms of slopes that robots can accommodate. Or as Romain rightly said, tracker angles at which robots can work. So what we are seeing, there is a lot of relaxation around it. For example, we have a robot which can accommodate as much as 30% misalignment between trackers. So that is very, very significant. Similarly, we have robots which can run even at 60 degrees with trackers. So which earlier, like 2 years back, we used to require 0 degree kind of store position. So these are developments that we are seeing, and clearly as an industry, we are, I think, moving in the right direction. And the best thing is all stakeholders are working very, very closely, trusting each other. For example, module makers, they share with us their 2-3 years roadmap, which is very, very secret. Tracker makers share the same. We also share the same. And then we take inputs from IPPs as well as to what kind of structures we are going to see in the future. So what happens is, because of this trust, when we are designing the system at design level, at an R&D stage, all stakeholders pretty much get aligned. For example, let's say I have 2 designs. Cost-wise, I'm agnostic between the two. but one design can help tracker manufacturers reduce their cost. So with this kind of close coordination, we help each other out. So it's like a rowing contest. So you have 10 rowers, so we row in sync, and eventually the overall speed of the boat increases, and speed is here the cost per kilowatt hour that we are trying to drive.
Thank you very much, Nalin. This was very helpful. For the sake of time, I still have like 3 questions here. I can see a very interesting, significant participation of almost 50 people here or more. But there are a couple of questions that are coming, and I don't want to miss the opportunity of answering them. So I think this one is attended to Ahmed by a gentleman, Mr. Walid Muhammad. I have not seen any cleaning company having certification from PV manufacturer that their system is completely safe to use with particular PV panels. Does Longi endorse any cleaning manufacturer with tested data? Unfortunately, PV manufacturers do not share this data, neither they manufacture such systems. So I see you smiling, Ahmed, you can go ahead.
Again, as I was saying, Ahmed, the main thing for us is to make sure that our clients have the flexibility to choose and go with the best option for them. You know, it's very our project, our solar sector is very wide range, and to make sure to limitate you with some with a cleaning solution that this is the best. This is not correct. At the end of the day, it's based on the size, it's based on the mounting methodology, it's based on the what type of roof that you are using. It's rooftop, ground mounting, carport, and is it off-grid, on-grid? What is the size? Is it utility? Is it up to 10 megawatt, more than 10 megawatt, less than 100 kilowatt? So we are talking here about very wide range from our side. So as long we cannot say that go for this specific type of cleaning, go for this specific type of robotic manufacturer. At the end of the day, you are the decision maker. We give you based in your project. It's customized 100%.
Okay, another question. I think, what is the maximum deflection accepted for PV module manufacturer? So I don't know if you want to take this one as well.
I think Nalin already replied to this question, but from our side, we make sure that it depends. No, we don't have some percentage, because again, we have a wide stream of modules, and we are upgrading our technology. We are now heating the whole world for the breakers for our own records for B5, for P-type and N-type. So from our side, it depends. So I don't have a direct number that I can give to you, but make sure that what's you will receive from us the best in the market. This is what I can make sure of it.
Okay, Nalin, some questions related to you directly on the product. It talks about the brushes. Are they the same or are they customized? So are they standard for all the types, or do you need to customize brushes for certain situations?
So in our case, we use very soft microfibers, because with brushes over 25 years, what we have seen is it creates abrasion on anti-reflective coating, which once destroyed cannot be restored. So we use microfiber. For last 9 years, we have been using same kind of microfibers across different geographies. We have done it in very dry desert. We have done it in very humid areas, which has black cotton soil. And typically what we do is, once we get a project, we go and collect 3 to 5 kg sample of the dust. We simulate exact kind of table, the module mounting structure configuration that the developer would be having. And then we basically do testing for a couple of months to ensure that cleaning is proper. And second, no damage is done.
Okay, and also another one for you directly about your support and participation to the EPC, helping them to install properly the robotics solutions. Is that part of the services you provide, or do you just sell with a manual and they have to take care of that?
So as I shared, we need to work as a team, whether it is module maker, EPC developer, or the final O&M provider. So there are 4 things we do. First thing, we typically in all our contracts, we have something called scope matrix, which clearly outlines what IPP will do, what Ecopia will do, and what EPC will do, so that at a later stage, there is no conflict and everyone is clear. Second thing we try to do is generally have a joint kickoff meeting wherein we share all our technical requirements, try to understand from EPC if there is any challenges they are seeing, and we can help them with it. For example, the module mounting structure drawings that EPC make, they typically send it to Ecopia and we review them and basically then say it is perfectly fine and it will work with Ecopia. Even the first article inspection or the prototype inspection of structure, we accompany IPP and EPC to verify that everything is A-okay so that we don't miss out anything. Coming to second part, which is installation of the robot. So installation and acceptance test of the robot is done 100% by Ecopia. It is very, very simple process. It is just nut and bolts which need to be tightened. In fact, some of the variant, it comes pre-assembled. So you have to simply put it up. It is as simple as that. And we take care of it 100%. It is included in cost of supply itself. And if EPC has any queries, we try to basically address them as and when required, but the intent is we need to work very, very closely so that there is no rework or any sunk cost. The intent is EPC should remain very cost effective. We should remain very cost effective so that overall IPP can be very cost effective and keep on winning projects.
Okay, I have one question for you, Nalin, but I received a question from Mr. Kotrosos addressed to Romain actually. Romain, the question is, what is the reasonably acceptable cleaning performance in remote arid areas for waterless solutions as a percentage of nominal power? 95%, 90%? I don't know if you can answer this question, or is it considered to be a confidential developer, property, but I leave it to you. So this question again, what is the reasonably acceptable cleaning performance in remote arid areas for waterless solutions as a percentage of nominal power, i.e. achieving 90% or 95%, etc., etc.?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, like first on the, most of the robotic supplier provides some kind of information that the efficiency of their system is about 99%, cleaning efficiency. Here, when we are looking at, I think you're talking about the performance on your plants. Usually you have like, I don't know, in the region, you can have like 0.3, 0.4% soiling per day. At the end, I cannot answer like exactly to your question because it depends on many factors and it's site specific, but you have to look, okay, if the robot is coming, usually I will have less than 1% soiling that should remain. And then the number of time you need to clean will depend on the cost of cleaning. Here, I don't know if it's a semi-automatic or fully automatic solution. And basically, the generation revenue you will get from it. So it depends on the tariff of the plant you have and so on. So when you do that, you make your optimal case on how frequent you need to clean. And usually when you clean with a robotic system, you have less than 1% soiling remaining after the robot has passed. So I don't know if it answers clearly the question.
Okay, thank you, Romain. One question, Nalin, for you as well, when it comes to the local supply chain and the local manufacturing. This is typically a question asked to all equipment manufacturers in general. Do you think that Copia and others will consider having a local manufacturing in the Middle East region, serving the expansion of projects as we expect to see in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yes, Ahmad. So we are actively, in fact, scouting different options for Middle East and even other regions. For example, we recently expanded to Americas as well, and we have projects in Mexico, Chile, and Latin. So we strongly believe that you need to have a local ecosystem. If you want to do 3 things. First, show that you are really committed to the region. It won't happen, you will sell and then run out. So if you have a factory and a big setup, that gives a lot of confidence to other stakeholders that you are here for long haul. Second, in Middle East, I'm seeing companies, overall governments are very, very progressive. For example, if we talk about UAE, we are seeing vision for energy vision for 2050. So it's all documented. They have a set of advisors to the government who are very, very open to meeting, etc. So in Middle East, I think it is something we are exploring actively, and it is something that needs to be done if a robotic player want to become significant in this part of the world.
Okay, I think for the sake of time, we have 1 more minute, and then I need to close down. It's a question related to the O&M of robotic systems. What should be a reasonable estimate for the O&M cost of to maintain the system as a percentage or as a dollar per watt, if you would like to share something like that? The maintenance of the robotic solution.
Is it like related to Nalin or myself?
No, Nalin. No, not Nalin.
Yeah. So there are so on capex front, it is less than 1% of the total capex of the project, and maintenance is typically like 10% of the capex. So you can say 0.1% overall. And again, with time, we are seeing it decreasing significantly. And it is also a function of plant layout. So if you have plants which are, say, square or rectangle in shape, which is long rows, then you will have very less robots per megawatt peak. So the number will come down. So we have done projects wherein the ratio of robot was 0.5, 0.7 per megawatt peak. And we have done projects where ratio was 16 robots per megawatt peak. So location and layout also basically determines it. Location, I say, because it is also dependent on frequency of cleaning. So if it is not a very dusty location, instead of daily cleaning, you can go for once in 3 days or even once in 7 days cleaning, which will reduce number of robot and hence cost per megawatt.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think I've answered almost all or put at least in front of you all the questions that we have received on the back room here. We are just on the hour, so I would like to take the opportunity to thank you very much for your contribution. This was, I think, a good starting to a very hot topic in the region that seems to continue to evolve and nothing really static around it. But I really appreciate the presence of the team here and the good representation from asset management, the owners of or the final users of these solutions. Nalin, thank you very much for your inputs on the technology side. Romain from the asset management. Ahmed, thank you again for being involved in the discussion around the PV manufacturer and their role into this whole mix. Glad to know that there is even confidentially always research and development between the manufacturers of PV and the manufacturer of the robotics. I think at least I was not aware that this is happening in the background extensively, as you just explained to us. So we really appreciate that today. And again, thanks for all our participants from wherever you have come and from wherever you have been logging. I hope this was a useful day for you, useful 1 hour. And take care and have a good afternoon. God bless you all. Take care. Thank you very much.